We're with Rei Miyata, if I pronounce your name correctly. Rei, how do I pronounce your name?
Yeah, Rei
Yeah,
Miyata.
Miyata
Yeah,
from Japan, and you're working where at the moment?
yeah. Working at Nagoya University. I am an assistant professor at Nagoya University
Of what?
of natural language processing. Yeah.
Okay, which isn't translation, right? Does that have
Uh,
something to do with translation?
yeah, related to the translation because I studied research on the machine translation.
Okay, and you've published a book. Can you tell us about that?
My book is was published in 2020, so which is about the controlled document authoring.
Yeah.
Yes, this book deals with development and implementation of the controlled authoring with specific focus on the municipal domain, so Japanese local governments.
Okay, and how does that connect with translation?
Yes, controlled authoring, I think, is very related to translation. So the authoring is so bef so the preparing the documents for the subsequent multilingualization process.
Yep.
So yeah, controlled authoring is very related to translation.
Okay. So, okay, well, okay, now help me with this. So it's not pre-editing, which is what I teach.
Mhm.
It's different. It's similar but different, right?
Similar but different. But I think controlled authoring covers the pre-editing process.
Okay. So we're preparing texts so they go through machine translation.
Yes.
Okay. So, Ray, what's your own background? Can you just tell us what you start? Usually, I ask people what they were doing in their mid-20s, but that
Mhm.
was last week for you, wasn't it? So tell me, what's your background? What are your studies?
Yeah, my major in at university was library and information science,
Okay.
which that which is a discipline that deals with the collection and organization and the circulation of information or human knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Good. And then how did you get to machine translation?
Yes, when I was an undergraduate student, and I started doing research on machine translation. So
Yeah.
at that time, Professor Anthony Hartley, was visiting my laboratory, our
Ah,
laboratory.
that's the man from Leeds University,
Yeah,
right?
really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And he led me into the field of uh, machine
Ah,
translation.
he's the culprit. Okay.
Yeah.
So then you studied masters and PhD, or how did that go?
Yes, I continued to research on machine translation or controlled language in the master's and the PhD programs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then what was your PhD on then?
Mhm.
Your
Uh,
PhD, your doctorate, your thesis, what was that on?
Thesis is about the controlled authoring
Okay.
on, yeah.
And how can you test the effectiveness of controlled authoring?
As I first evaluated the effectiveness of the controlled language rules.
Mm-hmm.
So I developed about 60 rules
60,
for, yeah, 60.
6-0.
Yeah,
I,
60.
I teach 5.
Yeah, very yeah, fine-grained rules
Yeah.
for improving machine translation.
Okay.
And
For the Japanese English language
yeah,
pair.
Japanese to English pairs.
Okay. And so who was the author? You were then the author, or did you get somebody else to do the authoring?
Yeah, I asked undergraduate university students to rewrite the source text according to the controlled language rules.
You taught them 60 rules?
Yeah, but when evaluating rules, I selected 30 rules.
Okay. That's getting better. Okay.
So,
All right.
but it was very difficult for the lay people to, comply with many rules. So
So controlled authoring is something you have to be trained in. You have to learn to do it, right?
and learn to do it. So that's why I developed authoring support tools in combination with the rules.
Can you explain what those are?
Yes. So the use of control language might be difficult for lay people. So I developed a kind of controlled language checker or controlled authoring support system.
Okay.
So
it would work like Grammarly?
Like Grammarly. So it
tells me
detects
all my sentences are too long. Yes.
Yes. It detects the violation of the rules and propose the suggestion and
So you're writing software. You're developing software, in fact.
Yes, I also developed software.
Okay. And then when you've got the controlled author text, how do you test whether it works?
I conducted a very small user evaluation to test the system.
So hold on. So you've got the original text, the controlled author text.
Yeah.
You put them through machine translation.
And compare
the people to read them. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you ask the reading, what do you ask? Do you have any specific parameters there?
I used a very conventional machine translation evaluation method. So like fluency and adequacy.
Okay. All right. Okay.
At that time. So more document level evaluation will be needed, but I have not yet done such evaluation.
I'm asking you because I'm trying to do similar things. And that's one of the main problems. Reception is very complex and it's very, I don't know, we find it depends on individual people a lot. Do you find that?
I haven't investigated in detail, but we revealed some variations between the readers.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm interested from your perspective, because you're doing information science and software engineering. In translation studies, should we look more at post-editing or controlled authoring, do you think?
I think controlled authoring would be important in this age of the neural machine translation and in this age of multilingual information dissemination.
Okay.
Yeah.
More than post-editing, do you think?
I think it is important to combine these methods in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ray, what kind of research should we be doing in translation studies, do you think?
Yes, it's a difficult question. And I think so that there is still gap between the authoring and the translation. So we need to integrate these two areas. So authoring, so technical writings and also translation. So bridging the gap between the authoring and translation is one of the important research topic.
Does that imply that translation studies should not be separate from technical writing courses, for example?
I don't know, but yes, the connection should be will be more needed, more need.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm interested in translation studies in Japan. Is this, do you think, one of the main focuses for people working in Japan, or are there other areas that people work on? particularly?
So it's difficult, but I don't know the situation in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're not alone, or are you alone?
Yeah, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're working on controlled authoring or on machine translation, is there a group of people around you who are doing similar things?
Not many. Yeah.
Okay.
But I work with people in machine translation research field. I worked with translation studies.
Okay. Great. Look, Ray, I loved your book. I think you're doing exactly what we should be doing, and we should learn more of it. Look, thank you very much for talking with me.
Thank you very much.